Good day, my name is Claudel Funeke. I'm the CEO of the Institute of Internal Auditors in South Africa. Thank you so much for taking an interest in our integrated report. Certainly we had an eventful year during 2015. We went through some frame-breaking change. We took on some new projects, kept us very busy. Some of those projects include our changeover from our learnerships to our occupational qualifications. So we spend a significant amount of time and energy in building the new occupational qualifications, which are currently with the Quality Council for Trades and Occupations for their approval. What I'm really excited about is we also launched the Anti-Intimidation and Ethical Practices Forum with a number of other professional bodies. I chair the forum and we have a lot of work to do still, but I think that this is going to really make a significant difference in the South African landscape. Also proud about the fact that we released our third version of the Corporate Governance Index. Very interesting findings in there, and I encourage you to go to our website and have a look at the index and use it as a benchmark in your organizations. We also launched our stakeholder network, and here I'm talking about the stakeholders of internal audit. What we've done is we've created a resource center for the stakeholders of internal audit so they can get guidance from us. For example, how do you employ an internal auditor? And I believe that is guidance that should be coming out of the Institute. And I really think that that stakeholder network is going to make a significant difference for organizations that deal with internal auditors. We started with the beginnings of the student chapter. I'm hoping that we will launch it this year fully fledged, but we started to work on building the foundations for a student chapter, very important constituent for us, and I think the Institute is really going to drive this one going forward. I'm proud to say what was really, really important for us last year, we scooped up the BBQ Motlaka Transformation Champion of the Year Award. It says a lot about the Institute. Our transformation strategy is very important for us, and we make sure that in our recruitment processes and our policies and our HR policies that comes through very strongly, because we've got to set an example as a public interest organization in South Africa. Now those are highlights, and there are more in the integrated report, so please go through the report. You will also find it in the report. We put a lot of emphasis on our capacity building initiatives. We've done quite a bit in terms of building the Institute, the capacity within the Institute, so that we can be ready for what's coming in the future, but also to meet the current expectations, which of course are increasing on a daily basis. This is the reason why you would see in our report and the financial statements that we had a deficit for last year, the same as in 2014, but that is primarily because we made a conscious decision to dip into the reserves and build the capacity of the Institute. Now, it would be remiss of me as a CEO not to talk to you about what keeps me awake at night. Now, some of the things that keep me awake at night is the increasing expectations on internal auditors and whether we are in a position to make sure that we can help our internal auditors, our members in particular, to build their competence to meet those increasing expectations within the market. The economy in South Africa is not in a good state, and of course that worries us. It worries us in terms of how it would impact on the Institute. It worries us about how it would impact on the organizations and in turn on the internal audit activities around the country and the resources that they would have access to as a result thereof. Our member numbers also concern us, of course, in relation to that. In a lot of cases we have organizations paying the membership fees, and it does concern me a little bit that it creates a little bit of distance between the individual and the Institute, because the responsibility of professionalism lies with the individual and not with the organization. So we will be working quite a bit on getting our members more conscious and aware of their responsibilities as a professional, and try and combat a little bit some of the apathy that we do see. Very concerned, of course, also around making sure that we are sustainable going forward. That keeps me awake at night. Not very easy for an institute, a non-profit organization. We are not profit-driven, but of course we need to ensure that we remain viable going forward. So a sustainable funding model is very important. And I would say one more important thing that does keep me awake at night is our dependency on key personnel. as a result of lack of resources. My people are very stretched. I've got a fantastic team. They jump in and help whenever they need to, and I can see that a number of my people are very, very stretched, and they do that in the interest of the profession. But it does become a concern if the pressure is a little too much. Well, the year ahead, very interesting year that's staring us in the eye. Right at the top of our list in terms of strategic initiatives is getting ourselves in a state of readiness for the regulation that is coming. The South African government has now started having conversations around regulating internal audit amongst other professions. So we need to make sure that the Institute is in a state of readiness, but also that the profession at large is in a state of readiness. So we'll go through a consultation process and we'll start to get our ducks in a row. That in itself is a big project. Another big issue that I have to deal with is the establishment of our academy. There's more information around the academy in the integrated report, but we are establishing a subsidiary to the Institute to deal with those aspects that are really more the player aspect, and the Institute would be the referee in the process to make sure that we divide those aspects from that we shouldn't be controlling as an institute. And then, of course, as I said earlier on, we're really hoping that we'll be able to bring the young people on board and have a fully fledged student chapter by the end of the year. As you take the journey with us through the integrated report, I hope that it will encourage you, that it will excite you about the great things that are coming for the profession. But particularly for our members, I do hope that it encourages you to become more involved in the affairs of the profession. Thank you.